Hello friends, my name is RagePanda1 and I have a dream. And that dream is to make a resource for all players, and maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot by doing this, but I want to make a resource where you don't necessarily have to seek out videos and forums and all this crazy stuff just to try to get some tips on how to use your characters. For many other games, there are websites where you can go, you type in the name of the character, and you get everything that you'd want to know. I'm thinking things like Wowhead and Icy Veins for World of Warcraft, hellhades.com for Raid Shadow Legends, and the list goes on and on. Just about every video game has one. This game is not that big yet. Nobody has taken the initiative to make this website, so I would like to be the person to take that initiative to make that website, and in order to do that, I'm going to need a lot of help because it is a lot of work. So first I want to show you what I have in mind and maybe give you a rundown of where I'm thinking that things could go in the future. The first immediate goal, there's going to be a homepage, obviously, and then there will be different tabs at the top. One of those will be for the various champions. You'll come to a selection screen that I would like to lay out like the actual champion selection screen in the game. I have a very crude mock-up of that, and nothing here is set in stone. I'm just trying to illustrate my point. There'll be a search function here where you can type in a clan name. There will probably be filtering features such as male, female. Maybe I'll do the different classes, tanks and assassins, and that sort of thing. You'll click on the portrait of whoever it is you want to see. In this example, we'll be looking at a male Sallyhorn. So the first thing that I want you to see, whether you're on desktop, on phone, we're looking at one that's more in an orientation of like a mobile device right now. First thing you're going to see is just recommended traits. I feel like that's what most people want. If they want to be on the website for 4 seconds, see what traits they want for their dude, and just move along with their day, then I think that we should make that as accessible as possible. Then we can get into the more extravagant stuff. Of course, we'll have a little picture of your dude there. I feel like that's good for a visual confirmation you're looking at the right page. And then we'll be talking about, you know, what are the best partners for this character? What are their synergies? Maybe positioning tips if those are hugely important. And everything else you might need to know if you want to actually take a deep dive on your character. You will literally just dive deep on the website and keep scrolling. So I'm thinking that, you know, you put the tabs at the top and you keep the main area of it just for all of the information. Of course, again, this is a very rough mock-up. I do have experience making websites. I am a freelance artist to begin with, so hopefully I'll be able to make it look somewhat good. I know that it's looking a little rough right now, but this is like maybe a 10-minute representation of what I'm looking for, just so you get the general idea of what I need and why I need it. So the first main goal is to get all of the champions, and every single champion is going to have their own page with their own list of traits. I'm sure a lot of them will overlap because that's just the way the game is. And each character will also, as I can produce them, have a somewhat uniform video that you can click on from the website, or you can just access from YouTube if that's what you're looking for. And then the website and the videos will synergize together. And hopefully I'll be able to keep the videos maybe under 5 minutes so that it's a quick and easy resource for people, because I think that's what everybody wants. Now, in my videos, I speak very honestly. If there's things I don't like, I say I don't like it. If I think Goat Games is messing up, I am not afraid to tell them they're being stupid. On the website, however, I'm pretty much going to keep all of that off of there. I don't think it's where I'm going to throw that kind of commentary. That's going to be still on YouTube. The website will also have access to my merch store, which will be releasing soon. And websites do cost money to host. The first year alone is probably going to be around $100, and then the price goes up from there. And as more data gets added to the website, you need more space. You might have to upgrade the plan, then that costs more as well. For that reason, there will probably be AdSense ads, maybe at the top or on the side or something. I would like to keep it as non-invasive as possible, but the reality of the situation is it's costing me money, and I'd like to recoup some of those costs if I can. And I've had several people ask me if they could make donations, like a Patreon or something like that, so I'll probably put a section on there for the website as well. But it's not something that I expect for everybody to take part in. Just if it's a thing you wanted to do anyway, feel free. It certainly helps keep everything running. What I really need help with is getting all of these assets separated. I want this thing to look nice. When I actually build the website, I'm going to take great care in detail in making it look extremely good on your actual PC web browsers and on your mobile devices. I would like to focus most of my attention on doing that part of it. And so there's other things that need to happen, like cutting out this character for our male Sally Horn. I'm going to need one of those for every character in the game, and there's like 50 of them now. I'm going to need each trait cut out. Now, realistically, I would rather have them cut out in a fancier shape, but just doing a box, I feel like, is going to be easier for people who maybe want to help with the project, but they're not really gifted in photo editing software. That might be something they could do. So at this point, I want to thank everybody for watching who has watched this far. If you're not interested in taking on any of the work of the project, then, go ahead and put a like down below if you're interested in this idea of a website. Maybe comment on the type of features that you want to see, such as pages on specific PvP things like Guild Conquest, Valley of Conquerors, District Management. All of those things are things I intend to include, and if you give me feedback on which ones to do first, it will help me to make those decisions. Obviously, getting every champion done is the first goal. And for those of you that have stuck around to this point and you might be interested in taking on some of the work, I'm now going to go through what I actually need and how you can help me with it. So basically what I need to do here is I need a few resources that we are going to just have to get from screenshots from the game. I've gotten a hold of Goat Games employees and asked them if I could get these PNG files to avoid all of this work, and they haven't said that they can't do it, but I've been asking for a very long time and nothing's come of it, so I'm gonna assume that they can't do it or won't do it, and that's their thing. So all of these icons, I want only mythic icons, and I want them to not have the vigor symbol. We're just gonna go in here and take a screenshot of each one. I personally use Procreate to do what I'm going to do with these files. You can use Photoshop, there's GIMP, there's all sorts of free photo editing software that does exactly the same thing. Then I go in and I take a screenshot of the actual champion, and normally you want to be on the traits page because I actually need their trait as well. If you're not taking on any of the trait parts and you just want to cut out champions, then I appreciate that as well. This same process I would like to have done for all of the companions, although it's not the first immediate need that I need to get done. So the workflow that I'm using for these things is I make my background not a flashbang anymore because I hate that and it hurts my head. And we just load up whatever file that we're trying to separate from the background, and there's a couple of ways that we can go about getting what we actually need done. So for these champion images here, I can just select around the image with a rectangle, and that's pretty easy, but they have these tiny details at the top. So I add to my selection with just a freehand tool, and this does not need to be perfect. You can see that my lines are not perfect. It doesn't matter, right? We're not making a ton of money on this website and trying to be the next Steve Jobs. We're trying to give people a resource for information. If there's a couple pixels out of place, it's not the end of the world. So I invert my selection after that, and I just drag off the rest of it. And on this one, I decided to clean up those edges, which is a thing that you can do, but you don't have to do it. It just depends on how much care you want to take. If you give me an image that is like just not quite good enough, number one, I can fix it, and it's less work for me to fix it usually. And number two, it can be a placeholder while I'm waiting to get all of the resources in. Now, these things don't take that much time, but doing it for 50 champions takes quite a bit of time, and that's why I need your help. If you do happen to be on Procreate or whatever program you're on, we want this to be a transparent background, so you may need to make sure that you're saving it with a transparent background. Although even getting it to this state, I can remove the color background if I really need to. And then we're going to crop our image in just so that it's the smallest file size that it can possibly be. Again, this doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I will be able to work with it and resize things however I need to. Just getting these assets done is going to be super helpful. I am going to make a list of what I need on my Discord. So if you are not part of my Discord, which is no longer just the official Bloodline Discord, the link for that is in the description below, and I would invite you to join, especially if you're trying to help me out with this project. When it comes to our character models, I think that the easiest way to do it is with a freehand tool and a selection. Now, you can also do the dot selection mode if you just have a mouse, and that works fine. You just click along the edge of it and it creates dots. That's how a lot of people will do this in Photoshop. I work on an iPad Pro with an Apple Pencil, so it's easy for me to just draw along the line. And again, I don't care if these lines are perfect. You honestly cannot tell if they're not perfect. So, you know, don't spend 3 hours on each one. It's fine. If you make a line that's egregiously bad, then just back out of that line and try again. Most programs you can undo to go back to the last place that you stopped your freehand selection. And you can do this same process if you don't have the freehand selection, don't like using it, whatever. You can just take an eraser tool and erase around the edges as well. The whole point is that we're just trying to get this character on a transparent background. The way that I'm doing this is I was keeping the stars on there, but I'm getting rid of the red part that says Mythic. So I just draw a line across there. And again, I have to invert my selection on Procreate so that I can drag off the background instead of dragging off the guy himself. And the same thing, we're going to then make the background transparent and crop in our image to make it the smallest file size that it can possibly be. Now, you don't need to make these any specific resolution. I'm not concerned with any of that. It's not that detailed. Those are all things that I'm happy to adjust myself. As long as I can just get them on the transparent background, I think that's going to work fine. If you want to help in this process and you just don't have the time or patience or knowledge to be able to use the photo editing stuff the way that I'm showing here, I am going to be just using boxes around the trait images so that I can outsource that to more people, and maybe people that want to help but can't quite get their head around getting the other people on a transparent background. Literally all you need to do for the traits is you take the screenshot on the champion screen and you zoom it in and crop it down to just be a square around that space. That one is super easy to do. If you don't know how to crop your image on whatever thing that you are using as a photo editing software, I can guarantee you the internet can tell you how to do that in 5 minutes, and then you'll be pumping these out in no time. And I need every single trait in the game, including every single clan trait. And the last thing that I probably need in there, I am also looking for a good image with a transparent background of the Bloodline logo. And eventually down the road, I'm gonna need like all of the different books and all of the different items that you can buy in stores and all of that stuff. But for now, we're just worried about champions. So I think I'm gonna stick with the traits, the character models, and the character plaques or pictures or whatever you want to call them from the champion select screen. If you have any questions about how to help with that, again, I will direct you to my Discord. I really appreciate the help with this, guys. This is a giant community project that hopefully will help the entire community, and any help that you can throw my way to get it done is going to make it so that I can get it done faster. And as we start working together on these projects, we're going to pick through the entire game. We're all going to learn a lot. We're going to get to know each other a little better. And I think that it's going to be a great way for the community to grow and strengthen. And hopefully it'll help the game grow, because we want the game to succeed. We all like playing the game. The better they do, the more fun that we get to have with the game. And I think that's going to be a great thing. So, if you made it this far in a video where all I'm doing is asking for help, then you are an absolute legend, whether you help or don't help. And please do spread the word that I am looking for assistance in this project. So, tell me in the comments what part of this you're most excited about. I want to thank you for watching the video, and my most very sincere gratitude to anybody who takes on part of this project. I have been RagePanda1, and I will see you in the next one.